and welcome to another episode of Never Caught Offside with myself, Mr. Voltaire, here with my guys. So I'm going to do a quick introduction from the top right. I'm going to go with Tuyo the Kun Toyesta. How are you, brother?
I'm good, good. A little bit downbeat, but good.
Oh, don't do that to me. I know you guys lost, yeah, but yeah, just I want to see some energy today. Yeah, maybe you should have drank a Red Bull if it came on, but anyway, it's all cool. Then moving on to Big Dave. Dave, how are you today, brother?
I'm very good. I'm very good. It's nice to run the podcast again. Some really important topics to discuss today, and my condolences to my friend Toyo.
Why are you sitting there like an anti-Rapport and today's news? It's like it's a South London Trevor
I'm
McDonald's, you know?
serious today, bro. I'm
Right.
serious. I'm serious today. We got some good topics. We got
Good,
we
good,
got
good.
Tottenham. We got Man City. Let's see what we can talk about today.
Speaking about Tottenham, we have my big bro Ugo in the house. Big Tottenham fan. How are you today, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Good, good, good.
All
Looking
good. Ready
cozy.
to tackle the week?
Yeah, yeah. He's actually just downstairs. Like
Is it?
we're in the same house. Look at this. This is
Ah,
just he's just
okay,
downstairs. Yeah,
okay, okay.
this is good. I like this little family
Give it
connection.
away,
Or
man. You don't give away secrets like that.
it doesn't matter. They know it's yard. Look behind me. You can see trainers and all sorts. So it's all good. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is how we do. We're broadcasting from the comfortable place. Oh, I don't know where Tuyo. I don't know where his place is comfortable. I don't know. Looks kind of prison celly where you are. You're right. You're right there. Is this
He's serious. What you talking
hate
about,
hate should be Hackney? Where are you?
Is it, is it,
man? Look at
Bruv,
abstract,
it's pretty
thinking.
abstract art, bruv. It's pretty blurred.
Abstract.
I can't see what kind of camera you're using. That's you know what you got a burner phone. That's what you're using in it to get here. It's fine. It's all right. If you've got a
Look at,
burner, it's all
look
right.
at abstract art, man. This is a trendy apartment, man.
Oh, I like it. Trendy apartment. That's what we call it.
we
That's what
can't
Yeah.
we call it. How long you got left? 15 to 20? What's going on? I'm joking. I know.
we can't reveal
All right.
locations, man.
So we got.
So let's.
We can't. So we have a lot to get through today. It's been a very busy weekend. Okay, so a lot of drama, a lot of tension. There were some tears. Um, and yeah, we're just gonna try and kick that one off straight away. So we're gonna get into the biggest game of the weekend, which was the FA Cup final. We know that the biggest game of the season is the Champions League, but in this country, it's the FA Cup, which is like what the kind of like. Do you know what? To be fair, the FA Cup should be like the curtain closer on the football event. When did it move to? We still got two games of the Premier League to um to play. Has it always been like that? I can't remember because I'm sure you win the domestic trophy, you celebrate, you won the league, and then you go and win the FA Cup. But anyway, it happened. So we had Man City take on the mighty Crystal Palace. And if anybody's living under the rock, you would not have known that Crystal Palace, like David and Goliath, fitting for your name, David, like David and Goliath, they came with a slingshot and a 1-0 victory against the mighty Manchester City. So before we even break down, what went through the game and, talk about the talking points, I want to hear from Tuyo, man. How do you feel, brother, man? Like my condolences, as David said, but how do you feel after suffering? Like, you don't lose too many finals, but okay, previously you lost FA Cup final to United, so to go to
Mm.
back to Wembley and to lose again, how do you feel, bro?
Two in a row is a bit deflating, I won't lie. However,
Sound like
uh,
Arsenal now.
no, no, yeah, two defeats in a row is disappointing. But I mean, the fact that Palace won it, it's kind of like it lessens the disappointment because I have a lot of family, for example, in Croydon, all them sides, South London,
Yeah,
so
big up all South London people. Let me say that one time. Big up everyone from South. I'm from South, so
but
big representation.
yeah, I've got a lot of fam. Basically, my close cousins are from there, and I used to hang out there a lot when I was younger. So I'm kind of, I mean, it's bittersweet. I'm a little bit upset because we lost, but I'm happy that my cousins and stuff are happy, and and just give some pride back to South London. So yeah, I mean, it's good. that's their first trophy, so they're in Europe. I mean, who would ever imagine that Palace will be in Europe in Europa Cup? Imagine if they won it
No.
in Champions League.
Like there's so many things that have happened, since Palace when we've had two world wars, we've been Brexit, we've had the royal family divided, we've got a king, and then Palace go and win a FA Cup, the first ever trophy. But Tio, let's be real.
Hmm.
I know you're not too deflated. Obviously, a defeat is a defeat.
Hmm.
No one ever wants a team to lose, sorry. But at the same time, how would you feel if this was a final and it was something like Chelsea and you had lost? Would you still be so like,
No, no,
no.
definitely not. No,
So
definitely.
is it a kind of sense of you rate, not saying you're calling Crystal Palace a lesser team, but because they haven't got anything in their history and it's a first cup and it's jubilant thing, is that where it is? Is that why
Yeah,
you're kind of like not?
I know. I mean, it's Palace are they're the kind of club that everyone they are the underdog, but Palace, everyone likes Palace. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, everyone likes their history, their plays they've had. You know, they remind me of a little bit of the old Wimbledon. In
Mm,
the 80s. The crazy guy, 80s, 90s, the crazy gang. So. Yeah, if it had been Chelsea or Arsenal, one of these big teams, I would have been I would have been, totally distraught. But the fact that it's Palace, like I said, I've got a lot of family in South London, Croydon in particular. So yeah, I'm happy for them. Yeah, I'm happy for them. Yeah, so yeah,
okay. So, Ugo, how do you feel? Because, as a Tottenham fan, Crystal Palace are a London club rival. That the rivalry may not be as strong as it is with Arsenal and Chelsea, but at the fact that Crystal Palace now have kind of won a trophy of recent time, even though this is the first one, before you guys won anything recent, does it make you feel any type of way, or is it the same case as Tuyo, where this is the first trophy the first trophy ever, so you're not kind of like you know, it's light-hearted.
Um, First and foremost, I'm happy that the FA Cup has come back to London, even more so South London, seeing as we're native South Londoners. So I'm happy in that regards. But then again, at the same time, now that Palace have won, um, they won a cup. It now puts the onus on us now to do the same. I get the feeling that it's the season of the underdogs. So all
Hmm.
underdogs are winning trophies now. Newcastle won the League Cup, Palace the FA Cup. So now it's the battle of the Europa League between us and United. So I'm just hoping that we can come through and do it rather than being Spursy, as the tagline suggests. So we'll see.
Well, Dave, I was going to ask you a question there, but it seems like you've got issues with that. So,
Yeah, mate.
looking at some of the key performance there, you saw Eze scoring the winning goal. And we didn't see really much of, Man City's midfield or strikers actually, testing the keeper. Had a chance to score through the penalty. What did you make of that, Tio? The fact that Haaland gave the ball to Mamouche. What have anybody kind of explained why you got the regular penalty taker on the pitch? Yes, he may have missed a couple, but if this was Mo Salah, he's taking the penalty and he's going to, and he's going to put us forward. What do you think the thought process was there?
To be frank, Haaland bottled it. Basically, that's
Okay.
it's plain and simple. I mean, he handed responsibility to Mamouche. He bottled it basically. Because he had missed one his last penalty he had missed, and I
Hmm.
think he had missed was it 4 in 7. He scored 4 in 7. Yeah, basically. So he just bottled it. And simple as I mean, that's kind of systematic of his kind of attitude, and his kind of performances, in big games. He's a great player, and I love him. I love him to bits. I think he's one of the best centre forwards in the world. But even today, I was watching Sky Sports, and Carragher was saying that that he feels that Salah, whenever he comes up against the top defenders, the elite defenders like Van Dijk, Saliba, Rudiger.
Wait, Salah or Haaland? Sorry.
Sorry, Haaland. Haaland, yeah, sorry, Haaland.
Okay.
When Haaland comes up against the top defenders such as Van Dijk, Rudiger, Saliba, all these top defenders, or when he has to play in a final, when the chips are on the line, he doesn't produce. And I hate to say it, be honest, it's true though. I mean, 0 goals in 7 finals, basically 0 assists. He, he's like a bully. When he's playing against defenders like I'm trying to think of defenders. If it goes to crappy defenders, anyone can suggest some. Anyone think of some. I'm trying to think of like Keane. Is it Keane from Everton? When he plays defenders like that, he bullies them. You know what I'm saying? But when he plays against some decent, elite defenders, or when it's in a big game, he goes missing. And that's just, I'll be honest. All his goals, when he scores like 4 or 5 goals in a game, it's against like these useless defenders. Do you know what I mean?
So do you think this combines with, Kevin De Bruyne being not quite, not saying off the pace, but yeah, like now Kevin De Bruyne is kind of winding down. His performances are kind of affecting how Haaland is performing because I was watching the game and there's times where I saw Kevin, giving the ball away, maybe not reacting as quick enough, not being able to really take on and beat players, so and maybe a little case of overthinking, and maybe the overthinking is coming from that, what, I can't do what I used to do. I don't know whether that could be the player part. I'm not a mind reader, but from watching the game there, did you see any lapses in the team that could have prevented Haaland from actually performing to his best?
Basically, Haaland has been in the City team, was it 3 4 years now, and he has played with KDB, and other players when they've been at their peak, and he hasn't performed in the past. It's 7 games, 7 finals, 0 goals, 0 assists. That's not this. I mean, it's only this season that KDB has really fallen off. I mean, last season he was still up, his usual self. So yeah. I mean, it's not, it's him. He needs more bottle. He needs to, because I've watched games, for example, when we played against Madrid a few years ago in the semi-final of Champions League, and we got knocked out. He didn't score. Rudiger bullied him. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was like, Haaland, come on, do something, And whenever we play big games like finals or against top defenders, there's only once I can remember him doing well against a top defender. That was I think it was 2022. Yeah, 2022 when we played Arsenal in the in at Etihad, and then he scored. I think he scored one, and he set up KDB. Do you know what I'm saying? In that was a one game and I said Saliba was actually no. You know what? That was the game where Saliba wasn't playing. Remember, Saliba was injured. It was that other guy, that Muppet. The guy
Kirio.
Holding. Is it
Oh,
Holding?
Holding.
Holden,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That's what he scored. You see, you see what I mean? So he scored in that game against Arsenal on that game. But when else have you noticed that Haaland has scored against Saliba?
No, that's true. That is true. So as
Or
you can,
Van Dijk, whatever, yeah.
yeah, Van Dijk always has them in his pocket. Like,
Or,
that's
or,
always,
or, or Rudiger. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. So I could see that in the previous game the last game before they had before that final, City were able to win 5-2, where at one point Crystal Palace were 2-0 up. Now I believe that at the end of the game, I think there was, Glasner was talking about words that he had with Pep, and he said to me, "Listen, you play like that again against us, and we're gonna solve that problem, in a sense." And he solved the problem during the game. So, Hugo, to you, how you watched the game? What did you feel about Palace's performance against City?
Um, when it comes to like finals, it's a one-off game. So your league form compared to a one-off game form are two different things. So I felt Palace were very resolute, especially defensively. I felt as though their game plan was to sit deep, have every man behind the ball, defend, and then hit them on the counter. So I think maybe somebody else might have seen it differently, but that's the way I saw it. So I think their sort of mindset was like, we need to be resolute at the back, more resolute than we've ever been before. And then if we can get a chance to hit him on the break, then let's do it. And that's what they did. And then they were just consistent. Like they didn't really lack any sort of
Oh, fucking
I
going
don't
on with
know,
this fucking thing, bro.
losing any sort of discipline or anything like that. They were very focused. Everybody on the pitch, they had a goal. I just think they really wanted it. A lot of the teams, especially like with Newcastle as well, with their cut win, they really wanted it. So maybe it was just written in the stars for them. So,
Mm.
Okay. So
but
who
yeah,
do you
they were
who
solid.
do you, who do you feel in that Palace team on that pitch stood out for you?
I mean, you can mention a couple of players really, but the ones that come to mind, obviously Eze, within the midfield. I felt lots of things was going through him, as you would. He's their number 10. He's their star man. Um, Gay had a few bits and pieces there, being strong at the back until he had to come off, unfortunately. Um, you had Mateta at the top, playing as if he's playing like he's their target guy, holding up the ball, bringing people into play, and it's those sort of matchups that led to the goal. So yeah, I think with that type of player, he's going to be difficult for defenders to handle. So
I think you missed out one player who I thought was the man of the match, and that was Munoz.
Goalkeeper. Munoz. Okay, yes, yes.
Yes, no, Henderson, the keeper as well. But
yeah,
Munoz. I mean, he was just up and down that right hand side.
mm,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you could
Yeah,
even say like players like did Lacroix play? I think Lacroix,
yeah,
Yeah,
Richards.
defensively, yeah, defensively, and then
Defensively,
Richards as well. Richards was very strong defensively. Yeah.
yeah.
Don't know why I'm having difficulties, guys.
don't.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can see that, Dave. Well,
Yeah.
how you what's going on?
I think I'm
You're
connected
disappearing
now.
and
Yeah, I'm
appearing like.
connected now, but for some reason it just keeps on reconnecting.
Who's your network provider? Is it Talk Talk? I
No,
get used
no,
to Talk
no.
Talk.
Yeah, no,
Man,
EE, EE.
it's almost like you're, bro, you got to pay your bills, bro. Pay your bills.
Nah, 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 nah. I don't know why it
Who's
just
Pay,
keeps on
if
reconnecting.
we get,
who's your provider?
I wanted to say about
Who's your
Crystal
we
network?
need.
Palace. I wanted to say about Crystal
Alright,
Palace
cool.
and their performance. I thought really the match was symbolic for Man City because Man City dominated the game in terms of possession, chances, which they normally do, right? But I just felt that Guardiola kind of overthought that tactic, that game plan. He had Gonzalez, defensive midfielder. Hello?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
listening.
you got
Even though you're out of
Okay,
sync, your mouth's moving. You know
okay,
what?
okay.
It's like one of those Chinese fighting films that
Yeah,
I kill your
yeah,
father, revenge him.
yeah. But he had Gonzalez, that DM on the bench, right? And I thought he
Yeah,
should have,
Nico Gonzalez.
yeah, Nico Gonzalez. He should have played him and then played De Bruyne and play Silva, as the other midfielders, and then play your winger striker. I just felt he overthought it by playing De Bruyne and Silva in the DM position because Eze and Soar just on the counter attack kind of killed Man
Hmm.
City. So he done that in the Champions League final against Chelsea a couple of seasons ago, where he
But
didn't
I don't think
he
I
didn't
don't
play
agree.
DM.
I
No,
don't
no, but
agree.
but
I don't.
I just felt on the counter attack you guys were susceptible, and that's why they only had literally like a couple of chances and they won the game. They had
That's
like
the
I
thing.
think four chances. So
They
you
had, they
guys
had,
a DM solves many counter attack issues. Like 'cause the DM stays there, he anchors the defense, and he mops up
in
any
that
counter attack. That's what
in
I'm
that
saying.
game, David. They only
Mhm.
had one counter attack, one transition, and that was the goal. Basically, the rest of the chance they had was from throw-ons, basically, and
Yeah,
corners.
yeah.
Well, they know they scored the other goal, which was disallowed, and that came off from a
That,
break.
that was from a throw-on, wasn't it? Was that from a throw-on?
Well, that came from a break. I'm sure it came from a break.
No, it was from a throw-on, from a long throw. So,
I can't remember.
even if it was a break, that was two.
My point
Let's
is,
say they had two transitions, basically.
And sometimes it's those opportunities that come to you that you take.
That's it. They took him. They took him.
When you're in a team like City, if you get a chance, you have to take it. Otherwise, you get punished.
So
They took those chances, but the thing is, arguing that we need a DM, not necessarily because if there's only two transitions, what you know what I'm saying? We had most of the game, the play of the
yeah,
game.
but you saw that. But they played with Alan Wardson and Kamada sitting in front, and that was nullifying kind of what De Bruyne was doing. So De Bruyne was having to go kind of go wide. You lot didn't have that steal in the middle, so that DM you did miss. So I felt
Well,
like the frailties were coming in through there, and they were like, Mateta was winning the duel against Diaz. All you had to do is had his back to goal. Because look, if you see it. If you see how Mateta was playing, he was receiving the ball with his back to goal,
hmm
old school. He wasn't getting the ball in front. Now, if you had a DM sitting in front of him, you cut off the supply, and then they have to go wide. And wide, I think, yeah, Munoz was killing on the right, but I felt maybe a Kanji had Mitchell. He had him good, so he didn't really have a problem there. But it was right hand side, and Munoz was a problem there. But I feel, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like City have come to the end of their cycle, and now they have to rebuild, and they have to rebuild with a lot of investment. And we're gonna talk about it when we mention about transfers, which I felt is going to be a key point to this. Okay, but Palace have now secured European football. They're going to be in Europa League. So, what do you feel is going to happen to that Palace team? Do you think they're going to hold on to their Ezes and the Guehis? Because Mark Guehi, he's been transfer rumored over the last 2 years. He almost joined Newcastle at one point, and there's rumors that Liverpool are going to come in for him as he plays for Van Dijk if he doesn't sign a new contract. Can European football keep the players at Palace and go for a charge? Or do you think they may grab the chances now and cash in on some of the key stars and use that money to rebuild and make the squad stronger? Give it more depth. Hugo, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's always a case when you're a casualty of your own success. Like Palace have been a decent team this season. Glasner's come in and he's built a foundation within the squad. They've made some astute signings in certain areas. They've strengthened, I think, where they needed to. And it's always the case with teams like that. Your team's always going to get picked apart if you've got players that stand out and make a difference. And I think that's going to be the same with players as like you've mentioned, the likes of Eze, Gehi, even Mateta maybe could get picked up by somebody. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of the big clubs doing their vulture vibes now that the season's come to an end. So Eze could leave. I think he'll be the main one. I think Palace will find it hard to keep him. I think if a big offer comes in, then if it's the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, who knows? Even teams abroad, it could sway Eze to leave and join those clubs. Eze can just look at what's happened to Elise. He left, went to Bayern, won the league. He got Young Player of the Year. Eze might want the same. Reach those accolades as well. So whenever players, given the opportunity to move across and earn more money and move to a better team and win more things, because let's face it, I think the FA Cup is the best Palace are going to do. Like next season, I doubt it they're going to replicate that form and win another trophy. It's going to be difficult for them to reach higher echelons moving next
Okay,
season. So this
but
might be the chance now for Eze and anybody else to say, "I've done my bit. Let me go and improve my career elsewhere."
okay, but with that being said, you don't think that they could do what United and Spurs are doing and get to Europa League final? Do you feel Crystal Palace are strong enough?
No,
But your team right now are laying 17th in the league, and Palace are how many places above you? So is that fair? Is that a fair judgment to give? Do you feel that the Palace team is a stronger team than Tottenham's team?
hold on. So are we talking about like Palace's current form now? How would they fare if
Yeah,
they were in the Europa League?
because like you guys are 17th, yet you're in the final. So couldn't Palace do that?
Maybe I wouldn't rule it out. They could do. Like this Europa League tournament hasn't been the best. I would say so. It's been a bit of a lottery. Any teams could have gotten to the final. Maybe at the beginning you would have thought the lights off. Perhaps I don't know Roma, maybe Frankfurt, whoever would have got to the final. It's been a bit of it's been unorthodox this season, but you can only play the teams that are in front of you. So I reckon Palace probably would have been there or thereabouts. Whether they would have got to the final, maybe. I don't know. It's possible. I guess so. If Spurs and United can get to the final, then perhaps
Then why
Palace.
not
Why not?
Palace?
So yeah, it's a possibility. I would agree. I reckon they could have done the
Okay.
same as well.
Well, Tuyo, what would you reckon? Would you take? I know that you guys are looking for a replacement for KDB. You've been linked with Morgan Gibbs White. If let's say, for instance, Eze is a cheaper option, would you take Eze over Morgan Gibbs White?
I would. Yeah, we were linked with Eze anyway. Was it last season? I think we even put a bid for him as well. I think we put in a bid for what was it 50 million and they wanted 60 or something. I can't remember what it was, but we put in a bid for him last season. I prefer Eze to Morgan Gibbs White, although the problem is that we want someone to play in the middle as a 10, basically. And I know that Eze has played as a number 10 in the past. I know he's done it for Palace, and even for England as well. I think he's done it for as well. But he hasn't done it that often, as a number 10. And I'm not too sure if he can play in the middle. I mean, from the sides, he's great. I mean, yeah, he's quality, from the sides. But I don't know. I mean, I
Well, okay.
I
Well,
I
maybe
I
maybe
I,
it's a formation.
I think he's got more potential than Morgan Gibbs White. He's got more to his game than Morgan Gibbs White. Well,
Well, Eze has a 60 million release clause in his contract, okay? So somebody can come along and trigger it. But it's just whether the 60 million, as you said, does that, is that a
although
bargain there?
yeah, although to be fair, I mean, even if we were to get as a winger, I mean, our wingers aren't saying much anyway at the moment. I mean,
Join the
Savinho,
club.
yeah, sorry.
Join the club. Our wingers ain't doing anything either.
But Savinho, I mean, Doku is blows hot and cold, But then you've got Savinho, who I've never seen a winger like that can't shoot. Have you noticed he can't shoot? Savinho, he cuts in and he always hits. He always shoots at the player. He's the first winger I've seen that hasn't cut in and scored like like wingers normally do. Yeah.
I think he just needs a bit of time because I saw him play at Girona and he was looking good and he was scoring, he was assisting. I just think is that with Pep likes to rotate. So sometimes, he won't get like 5, 6 games in a row
Okay.
where
Yeah.
he
True.
where he needs. So maybe if he had that and a little bit more confidence, you would see him hitting a bit more. I think maybe he's also a little bit lightweight. So,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
getting hit by, big strong defenders plus, fullbacks in the Premier League. Sorry, Dave, let me mute you because you
What are you
what's going on there? I'm gonna mute you, bro. I don't know what you're doing. I'm gonna have to just what's good. Right, man's out of focus and all sorts. I don't know what's going on. Everybody's doing well today. Tio's doing well, even though Cameron is looking like it's from 1992. Look at my brother. My brother, look at his beard. His beard is glistening. What did you put in your beard? Like, why is it glistening like this? What did you put coconut oil in your beard or something? I don't know. But you know what's happening. But anyway,
Yeah,
um,
have you seen that argument?
he's on the he's on the argument. Oh, black white. You're by black right now. I don't know what's going on. You can't even see you. You know what? You look like the man from Milk Tray. Remember that advert? Yeah. Remember climbing through windows, all in black. No one knows what he looks like. That's you right now. You've even got a lamp. Yeah, and still we can't see you. Yeah, what's all this? Man's coming like it's a Commodore 64 graphics. I don't know what you're doing. What is this, Dave? Man, what is this? Well, it's all good. It's all love. Um, so I want to get into a little bit of the race to the top five because that was some movements were happening. Arsenal have already secured their Champions League spot, and I think you've now secured second place. One game to go. You're 4 points ahead. You beat your closest rivals, which are Newcastle. Very boring game if I'm going to be real. So there wouldn't be much to say. But Dave, what do you want to say about the game? Did you watch it, or were you falling asleep like the rest of us? You have to unmute yourself, please. As you pause, what's going on? Should I wait? Let me unmute
Not
you.
meeting.
He's
What's happening?
unmuted. You know, you have to unmute him. He's still muted.
Yeah, but I pressed it, so I don't know why it's like bare technical difficulties right now. We can't hear Dave. He seemed to be. Dave, can you mute yourself? Can you unmute yourself? No, he's now paused. I think he's lost. He's gone. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll let Dave come and talk about the Arsenal game. We've got a chance, but I want you guys to give me a little prediction of how you feel the top five is going to kind of go because we had some big clashes from Friday. We'll start with Aston Villa. So unfortunately for you, bro, yeah, we saw Aston Villa defeat Tottenham to 2-0. Now, I feel two different agendas, but you're both kind of going in the same direction. You're both potentially heading to the Champions League, but one agenda was we're going to win this game, and the other agenda was we're going to rest some players. Unfortunately, I only saw the goals, so I didn't actually watch the game. Was there a change in personnel? Did you rest a few players? What did you get from the performance?
Yeah, Tottenham's mind right now is on the Europa League. So the league, our league form has been disastrous as everyone knows. So I don't think the focus is on trying to get higher in the league now. It's just the Europa League. So it's Europa League or bust. So I was expecting and to drop players and give other players a chance to get some minutes. So yeah, I wasn't surprised by the lineup and I wasn't surprised by the score at the end of the game. So I expected another defeat. So yeah, I think all focus now is just on Europa League. Nobody cares about the league form anymore.
So that's 21 defeats in the league so far, and we always talk about form and how you come into a game in form or off form. Now, both yourselves and United are going into the game off form with losses. So, what game are you going to expect, or even better, what would you expect now from Tottenham in that final? When's the final? Is it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Yeah. So with United off form losing on the weekend and yourselves losing as well, it seems people during the week, even on social media, it's like people just clowning this final. So with people clowning this final, how does a Tottenham fan feel about going into this game?
If I'm honest, I'm not really going into this game with much confidence. I'm not really confident, even though I should be, and that's because of previous. I know what Tottenham are like when it comes to finals. So both teams are going into this game where they need to win for different reasons. Who wants it more? It depends. It depends on on the night. I think the team who wants it more will win it. Obviously, I want Spurs to win, of course. It's been ages since we won a trophy, especially a European one. It's been about 41 years now. So it's needed, you know. The last head-to-head against United, we've won the last three. I think it is 3 or 4 games. No, the last
I think
three.
it's 3, yeah.
Yeah, we won the last three. But then going into this one-off game, what's happened in the past doesn't matter now. So it's all about this final, who turns up and who wants it. So I don't know. What I would say is that obviously United are the favourites and they have a little bit more of the upper hand in terms of how they performed in finals. You know, they've won some cups over the years, over the last season or two, even though they haven't really been playing really well, but they've still managed to get themselves over the line. On the other side, we haven't managed to do that. So yeah, both teams are not coming into this game on form, league-wise, but as it's a one-off game, it just depends on who wants it more. So I just feel as though Spurs are going into this game with key players missing at a real crucial time. So I think that's gonna be a deciding factor. Whether that plays into their minds, with the fact that Maddison isn't there, Kulusevski isn't there, who knows? I would assume that Son coming back might give them a little bit of a boost. So I'm hoping that maybe they can put that to the back of their mind and just play to their strengths. If you can play resolute like we did against Frankfurt and Bodo Glimt, then maybe we've got a chance. United, on the other hand, are going into this game where I guess they haven't really got much injuries to worry about. A lot of their players have now come back and are now looking to get some sort of form. You could say Højlund has now come back in. I think he's looking a bit of a threat now. Ahmad is always going to be a threat as well. Bruno Fernandes, he's going to be the danger man. So, you know, it could swing it could swing into their favor too. So, I don't know. It just depends who wants it more. So, but yeah, if we don't win this cup, I'm gonna have to like go on holiday or something and escape for a while because it's gonna be unbearable.
Yeah, very much so. It's going to be one of those games where I think everybody's going to want to watch it and see how it's going to turn up. But again, whatever happens, and the winners of the Europa will be going through to the Champions League. So, to y'all, City drew 0-0 with Southampton. Then you play the FA Cup and you lose 1-0. So there's no goals in your last 2 games. You're going into the last game of the season. I think you are 5th or 6th.
Or 6th.
You're 6th.
Yeah.
So currently, at this moment in time, you are out of the Champions League spaces. So is there a possibility that 1, no trophies, but 2, no trophies, no Champions League? How will you feel that City have fallen so short of expectations this season? Like, are you feeling kind of uneasy on how this season's going to end for you guys?
You know what? I'm quite concerned, if I'm totally honest with you, because we've got 2 games that could go either way, if I'm totally honest, especially our next game with Bournemouth. Bournemouth are fighting for their lives. In fact, so are Fulham. Both teams are fighting for something. They're fighting for that
Final European spot.
seventh or eighth position, or the final European spot. I personally think that if we don't make it into the Champions League, it's going to be because of not scoring enough goals, basically, and that boils down to Haaland. Haaland is not, he's come back from injury, and he's not. He just doesn't look like he's going to score. So I don't know if Pep has got enough bottle to to drop him, and just play with Marmoush up front, and pack the midfield, because I hardly it just doesn't look right,
No.
I mean, it just doesn't look right at all,
Do you
and
think do you think he got rushed too early back
so
from injury?
maybe it's possible, yeah, it's possible that he's not ready, but I don't know. I mean, I mean, if we can get a result tomorrow, I think we'll get the top five. If we can get a result, but if we draw, for example, and we leave it to the last game against Fulham, away from home, I can see us getting Europa, and that's going to be a disaster. Because especially for the transfer window as well, trying to attract top players.
Yeah, because I'm looking at I'm even just by looking at the table now, I can see that vital wins, and I think some teams will be angry of Liverpool losing to Brighton tonight.
Are they in it?
Um, they needed Liverpool to do them a favour because Brighton are now eighth.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3 points ahead of Brentford, and yeah, just one more game to go, and then you have so Brighton are eighth, Brentford are ninth, Fulham are 10th, Bournemouth are 11th with Palace in 12th. So Palace have even though they probably will stay 12th, they can't go any higher than 12th. They will take a Europa League spot, and then you have Bournemouth, if they win, if they beat if they beat City, that will put them on 56 points, which will put them in ninth. So I feel that they will still miss out. Um, Brighton can still be caught by Brentford. They have scoring 3 goals against Liverpool actually gave them a better goal difference by 2. So Brentford would have to win their next game by at least 4 goals in order to jump ahead, or 3 goals they would need to get to 8th spot. So Brighton looking very good for taking a European, or this will be like a Conference League position. They have Forest in 6th, Man City in 6th, Villa in 5th. So Forest have Chelsea, who are 4th in the last game. So even 3 points for either of those two will secure them Champions League football. And then obviously you've got City and Villa. So City will have Bournemouth tomorrow. Bournemouth really and truly, they are they can still do it, but things have to happen. Like Chelsea would have to lose but win the Conference League. Um, I don't know. Does Conference League winner get Europa League
Yeah,
football?
they do. Yeah,
It does.
yeah.
Okay.
So free up a space in the Conference League. Yeah, if
So
yeah.
So it will be a case of Chelsea would have to drop out the top 5, but win the Conference
Conference
League.
League. Yeah, yeah.
Palace have gone against the grain and beaten City, because if City had won the FA Cup but miss out on the Champions League spot,
Give up, man.
then it would be the same. It would probably be the same thing as
Yeah,
Chelsea,
yeah, yeah.
because one of them would have to.
Still all in a circle.
It's too much maths in
Yeah.
this. Yeah, it's too many maths of probabilities. But looking at it right now, who do you think? Let's have your predictions, and I'll start with you, Tuyo. How do you think the top 5 will finish? Okay, Liverpool and Arsenal will claim first, second place.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel this is going to end? Because it's only 1 point
I think
divides.
Newcastle got Everton um at home.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they're gonna win that game. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
So,
three points. So they'll claim third.
they'll come third. Then fourth, I think Chelsea are going to lose to Forest, basically. All
So
right.
then that would give Forest then 68, which would take them on 1 point behind Newcastle, which would then take them fourth. And
Mhm.
then Villa on the last game of the season. Who did Villa have? I didn't
Man
even check.
United. They've got Man
Man
United
United, and Man United would have
away. Yeah,
Man United away. So
yeah.
Man United could be the party poopers.
But Man United, I mean, Man United are going to lose that game anyway because Man United, are useless. So, but I think the only like variable here is whether or not City win their 2 games basically. So
That's the
if they
thing.
beat,
They got 2 games in hand.
yeah, exactly, yeah. If they beat Bournemouth and Fulham, then City will take fourth,
And with
basically.
your current form right now, that's not even looking
And they'll take
likely.
third, won't they?
Exactly.
Because yeah, if City win the next game, 65, 68, City will go into third, and then then it just goes down to the wire
Yeah,
on the
but
last day.
I'm not convinced that City are going to win the next two games. I'll be honest with you. Do you know what I'm saying? Although, obviously, when you've got that much quality in your team, anything can happen. But still, but on current form, yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm not too sure. Yeah.
Because we've seen Forest sitting third for the majority of the season. They're really up there. I think at one point they were even second, and then Arsenal's managed to start sorting at their feet and then take that second spot. So even if Forest don't become that surprise, don't get that surprise Champions League spot, they will probably still end up with Europa League spot. So wouldn't that still
Mm.
be an achievement, or
Absolutely.
should they feel maybe frustrated that after all that hard work to the last few games of the season, lose out and not make it into the Champions League? Hugo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll be hard done by, especially towards the business end of the season. Um, but then if you had asked them at the start of the season if they would just take, let's just say, fifth or whatever, then they would have bitten your hand off. Um, I guess as a neutral, you can say Nottingham Forest had a bit of a nosebleed being up there at the top of the table or there or thereabouts anyway. And I had a funny feeling that they're probably going to drop off towards the end for one reason or another. Maybe due to lack of inexperience. No, it's what they're only this. Is it their second season back in the league or whatnot? So I guess you could say that they've overachieved. So with them being where they are now, I think is about right. Yes, they would have been a bit hard done by. If it turns out that they don't finish the Champions League place, then yeah, they'll feel hard done by. But at least if they can secure Europe anyway and feature in the Europa League, then I guess that's a consolation, and they'll be happy about that. So
What I'm certain about, I'm really certain about, is that Chelsea are not going to make Champions League.
You don't
Yeah.
think they got enough to beat Forest?
No,
Why?
the team is just not good enough. They haven't got forward. Jackson's out,
Yeah, he's suspended.
and Cole Palmer is fine blanks. Which I'm saying. So who else have they got? Yeah, offensively they're just not good enough. Yeah, and then defensively you know they're not so strong either. Yeah, so I think Chelsea are not going to make it.
So basically, with then okay, so then we're saying that
Chelsea
Chelsea
and
will
Villa,
lose to.
Chelsea and Villa will not make it.
But didn't we just say that Villa were going to beat United on
But,
the
but
last game?
where are Villa now?
Villa are fifth, so they've got the last spot at this current moment in time. If Forest beat Chelsea, Forest will jump into that fourth spot. But
If Villa, what if Villa beat Man U?
yeah, if Villa beat Man U, Villa would then take fourth.
Okay.
I think Villa have a better goal difference than Forest. So as long as they win, they will take fourth spot. And then it will be down to City and Forest who will take that
Yeah.
last Champions League spot because Chelsea will be out of it. Um, so I think tomorrow's game will kind of shape up what that's going to look like. If City if City lose, then they're still in it. Obviously, results will have to go their way. If they win, they're in a better position. But we'll have to see because that form is not great right now, and coming back off a cup loss to then jump into trying to claim anything this season, because this will be Pep's worst season.
if we
Um,
if we know the pedigree of Pep Guardiola, then obviously he would have given a backlash to the lads after that cup defeat. So now he'll be rallying them up, saying, "Listen, there's no there's no way we're going to win a trophy now. So our best way to end the season is to finish as high up the table as we can. So the focus is to win these last two games and at least secure Champions League football, and then we can start again." So I think that they'll be up for it. I'll be surprised if they don't win their last 2 games.
Yeah, no, it's true. No, you got a point there. I mean, Pep normally, can rally the troops,
yeah.
but but I'm not too sure though. I mean,
If you can't rally them for a cup final, how is he going to rally them to get 3 points?
Who's saying he didn't rally them up? You win some, you lose some. Like I said, this season has been the season of the underdogs. So I think teams that have been starved of success, they've just wanted it more this season for one reason or another. I don't know whether it's something in the water.
Well,
Maybe they've been drinking rivals' tears. I
this
don't know. It's
this will definitely be a conversation, a debate for another episode. But I do believe, I strongly believe that it's getting 6 points now off teams is not easy. I feel the teams that are in the middle of the table are better now. You go to their home and don't expect to take 3 points off them. And I think this is why the points tally has really been low for the teams at the top and low for the teams at the bottom. Southampton record on only 12 points out of 38 games. You've got Leicester there as well, with they end up on just 25 points. And you've got Ipswich, who they end up on something like 23 points or something like that from looking at the league. Yeah, 22 points. So 12 points. So 10 points separated bottom from 19th, and 3 points separated 19th from 18th. And then Tottenham, who with 21 losses, which is only 3 losses less than Leicester, who are in the, who are also in the bottom three, just 25 points. So Tottenham managed to survive with only 38 points. So again, it's going to your West Hams, your Wolves, your Crystal Palaces, your Bournemouths, your Fulhams, your Brentfords. Brentford at one point had the best away record in the league. They were winning away like it was no man's business, and they're sitting ninth. So coming to these teams now, coming to their homes and trying to take 3 points off them, there's no 6 pointers now. Maybe the only 6 pointers we're getting is really at the bottom, where the quality isn't that great. Because really and truly, let's be real, Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton are championship teams. They don't have the pedigree, and the next three that will come in and replace them will go down again. And I reckon all three will. Maybe Leeds maybe give a push, but with Leeds, are Leeds going to be a lesser team than West Ham and Wolverhampton and Everton? Because let's be real, I don't see Manchester United and Tottenham being, in the bottom six for next season, especially where you're going to be playing Champions League football. Or could we see a Leeds United? We never know. But carrying on with the theme of implications of missing out on the Champions League. Now, I feel that, and what a lot of people do say is how you end the season will kind of like determine how you might even start next season. So if City miss out on the Champions League, will that in effect have an effect on your transfer targets for
Definitely,
next season?
definitely, yeah,
Because first thing is first, you have to replace KDB.
yeah.
So who
I mean,
we've
to be fair, I don't think it's gonna make much difference to the replacement of KDB. The reason why, because Florian Wirtz is not coming to City, basically.
has he
So
confirmed that he's not gonna
no,
come?
no, they've pulled out of the negotiations because
Okay.
it's too expensive. Apparently, Leverkusen want, was it 125 million for him? Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, which is ridiculous. And the whole deal is 250 million. It's gonna cost them 250 million. Yeah, so that's not gonna happen. So it looks like we're probably gonna end up with Morgan Gibbs White uh or who's the other person that they said
Well, you were linked with Lucas Paqueta, and that was a lot. I remember at the start of the season and
but,
towards
but,
the end of last season.
but he's fallen off. So we're gonna end up with Morgan Gibbs White, or who's the other person that they said there's another player.
Oh, you've got Tedendi Reinders from AC Milan.
But he's a box to box midfielder. He's not a number 10.
But again, that's still a transfer target.
He's a transfer
So
target. No, but there's someone else as well. Who is it? But anyway, but regardless, anyway, but still, Morgan Gibbs White. Yeah, he. It doesn't matter if when the Europa League, he'll still go to City. So
is there maybe I haven't been keeping too much attention to like transfer talk and whatnot. But is there much traction with that Morgan Gibbs White to
There is, yeah.
The
He's a
traction.
target. He's
Yeah.
a target. He's a target. But it's only if we don't get Verts, and we're not going to get Verts anyway. It's too expensive. We can't afford him. Yeah. So
I don't know. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but I still feel that a lot of transfer targets, people like Verts, Reinders, and so forth, would actually count on if Pep is going to stay. Now, who says that Pep might not even, you know, might do a Klopp,
he's got
might
2 years
decide.
left. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He'll
Hey,
do.
so Klopp had a year left and he stepped out. So maybe the job could be too much, and maybe just keep on buying and bringing in new players. Maybe this is might not what he wants. Okay,
Possibly, yeah.
but what in a terms of like your midfield reinforcements, which I feel is what you kind of need. Well, to be fair, because what we will do is we will talk about players that you might want to bring in and those who might to leave. We can leave that to another episode. But with the players that you've brought in so far,
Hmm.
they made their debuts. Echeverri made his debut in the FA Cup. So does City how much of a big change do City need to do? Is it more or less bringing players in, or is it more or less taking players out?
I think a lot of it is replacing a lot of the older players who are coming to the ends of their careers.
Well, you've
You
given Gundogan a new contract.
no, he's played a certain
Ascension,
amount of
sorry.
games. He's played a certain amount of games, which equates to him having a new contract. But we haven't given him a new contract yet. If he played over a certain amount of games, then he will qualify for a new contract. But we haven't actually signed that yet.
I'm
So
sure. I saw that he signed an extension.
okay, maybe we're going to get a new contract, but still, but a lot of the other players like John Stones, Carl Walker,
But
KDB.
is Stones coming to the end of his career though? Let's be real. How old is Stones? Stones is
It's not,
30.
but he's too injury prone.
Okay.
They're going to replace him. Yeah, and then David, Bernardo Silva. All these players. They're coming to the ends of their careers. So we have to replace them with younger, fresher players. Yeah,
But are we talking end of their actual careers or the end of the City careers? Because we can
and
see
and end of
people
their
like
city
Ronaldo
at the
be
top
40
level.
at top level.
At the top level, basically. So those players, even yeah, even maybe Akanji potentially as well. He's another one, that could be.
He's still all right. He's come back from
Fair enough.
injury,
Yeah,
so
but Ake, injury prone.
mm.
There's so many players that we need to especially think about replacing. But
Maybe you
yeah,
lot should have gone for Dean Huijsen. Now he's
we
gone to
should have gone.
Madrid.
We should have gone for him. We should have gone for him. Yeah, but there are a lot of old players that need to be replaced. Yeah, a lot of these players, they've had good service at City, but they just need to be replaced. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah.
Speaking about, you know, players who need to be replaced and who have been there for a while, Son. Do you see Son as being part of a rebuild at Tottenham? If you win the Europa League, you go to the Champions League. That's some serious money. Plus, you keep on having Beyonce concerts, you're gonna make more money. So, is Spurs due a massive rebuild? Do you see yourself? Would you keep Son? And well, to be fair, where do you see the investment should be in order to, not get embarrassed in the Champions League and to also keep yourself in the top half of the table for next season?
where do I even begin? Like,
That's a good, maybe that's the title of what's his name, Postecoglou's book. Where should I begin?
yeah, Tottenham, the squad needs to be ripped
Bench,
up
that's it.
and started again. Like, we need a whole new team. Um, Defensively, that needs to be rejigged. Romero needs to go. I can drive into the airport if need be. Midfield, I'm not a fan of Soar, Bissouma, Bentancur. They need to go. Wingers, Tell. We don't need to exercise his loan. He can go back to Bayern. Odebear, I wasn't too sure about that signing to begin with. So there's a lot that needs to change. Players just haven't really measured up to expectations. So yeah, if we do win Europa League and we qualify for the Champions League, then yeah, there needs to be some real focus on rebuilding the squad and lessen the focus on buying young players. I think we've done that. We've got young players in the team. We wasted both transfer windows bringing in kids and one senior player. We've got kids coming through our youth team that've gone on loan. They're looking to come back. Lancashire's back already. He's one for the future. Donnelly, who's at loan at Leyton Orient, is doing some business there. He might want to say and break into the first team as well. We've got Vuskovic, who's on loan.
He's at Leyton Orient, who in League One.
Yeah, but he's showing signs. You got to send players somewhere, but he's showing signs that he can do a job in men's football. So he'll now, having tasted League One football with Leyton Orient, he'll want to come back to Tottenham and start showing whoever the manager will be. I don't think it'll be Ange. He'll be a fresh slate for everyone, and someone like him will want to show what he can do and make a claim for himself. So
Well, League One is still a big jump to come and play in Premier League football. I don't think that's maybe because the team is a bit stretched due to injuries. But wouldn't you
well,
be looking
it
to
could be that
buy new
maybe
superstars? Or
it
not
could be
new
maybe that
superstars, but
someone like him will come back and he could go on loan to a championship club. He may go on loan
Mhm.
again. Who knows? I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that we can't go into next season with the same squad that we have now. We need players that can go in and do a job straight away, not ones where we're building a project and that I hate that phrase. It doesn't work. So yeah, Tottenham squad needs a lot of surgery. In terms of Son, I think he's done. He's not the Son of old anymore. I think his sort of form waned when Kane left. I think he's been at the club 10 years now. So again, it's just a case of that cycle has come to an end. I'm hoping that maybe it's a case where by now he can have a say in the Europa League in the cup final. Hopefully he can do something and bring it home, and maybe that's the send off. That's his gift. Maybe then he might decide, oh, I've reached my target. I've won something. Now maybe I want to go elsewhere. For the remainder of my career, or who knows? Maybe that if we do win the Europa League, it might say to himself, "Oh, okay, I might stay." Who knows? It's up to the board or whoever the manager is as to where his future lies. But me personally, he's been in and out. He hasn't been the same Son that we've seen over the years. And that might just be due to his age. Um, and like you said, players coming to the end of their cycles. So yeah, major surgery. So we just have to see how it unfolds.
well, it's going to be tough, especially where that left-hand side of Tottenham has been a problem for the last couple of years. You've got, as I said, talking about Son, he might not make it. It's time to probably pass this new for him. At the same time, you've got Tell and Werner on loan. I haven't seen Werner for such a long time.
Yeah,
I even forgotten that he's on Tottenham.
he's injured. I wouldn't expect to see him back before
Okay,
the end of the season, and I wouldn't
so
expect to extend or sign him
to 10.
permanent. Yeah, no way.
Okay, cool. So Werner's out, and Tell, you're thinking not to turn that into, what is that, 50 million,
Yeah,
apparently?
No.
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 He,
Okay.
he hasn't he hasn't done enough for me.
Mm.
And you don't really even have a real genuine good backup to Solanke, because you have Richarlison, but it's like even him, he kind of like plays on the left and trying to drifts in. He does that kind of thing where he's not exactly a true number 9. Do you keep Richarlison, or do you get rid of him and bring him some money and get somebody else?
Yeah,
He's not
sell
gonna
him
happy
as
with
much
that.
as we
Yeah.
can. I'll 20, 30 million. I'll take. Maybe an Arab Cup can come in and take him off our hands. I think for me, personally, Richarlison's done for me. I think
Mhm.
injuries have just hampered his form. Unfortunately, he hasn't really done much since he signed for us. You know, there was a lot of expectation. 60 million. We wanted him to come in and be a nuisance and kind of continue the form he had for Everton. It just hasn't happened for one reason or another. So I think it'd be the best interest to cut their losses and start again. So
Okay.
so
Well,
yeah.
I think maybe a new manager, might change, the climate at Tottenham, with those players, because Ange is not the best manager. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not in his tactics, also his man management. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe he's not getting the best out of those players, that he has. Because some of those players you mentioned, they're not that bad. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, Bentancur, I mean, he's a decent player, Basuma, you know, he's not too bad either. And then okay, Tell, fair enough, but Son is finished, but even Ricardison, he's shown at glimpses of
Yeah,
form.
but the way
A new manager could get the best out of those players. Yeah,
But the way I see it is that even before Ange took over, when Basuma and Richarlison were there, it's not like they were putting up trees, you know. So I don't know. I the expectation for them has waned. Like Basuma, with him especially, he was doing wonders at Brighton, and we signed him because of that. He's come to us now, and he's just fallen off a cliff. He's been inconsistent. He'll have the one odd game where he'll be doing the business. He'll be running everywhere. He'll be making tackles. He'll be spreading the ball, and then next week he'll be a shadow of his former self, as if to say he's never played football before, or he'll be making rash challenges, giving away penalties. Um,
a new manager. I think.
you
I
know,
think a new manager.
Yeah, that's true. A new manager could come in and galvanize the players. If it's like a Thomas Frank or a Glasner or
Areola,
somebody or whoever,
Areola.
possibly.
Yeah.
But you can't keep on doing that, man.
But
New manager, and Tottenham. It's always a new manager.
we have to. And
But
we listen. If we win the Europa League and we qualify for the Champions League, we can't go into the new season with
I'm
Ange.
about to say that.
We
I was
can't.
about to say that.
We can't. If that happens, I'm gonna
that
watch NFL.
mentality, that mentality that you guys have, it's just not like I said before. Like the way you guys change managers is just toxic, man. It's like a toxic girlfriend. You just always want to dump your manager no matter what. You guys are gonna win a trophy, right? Why not just one more season?
21 defeats.
That's what it
You,
says.
no,
21
I
defeats.
know it's 21 defeats, but like Conte said, like you just can't keep on going through managers all the time. I appreciate Ange might not be the right manager, but the next manager you get is going to be the same thing again. He's going to have one or two seasons. He's not going to do well, and then you're going to get another manager in, right? I just think it's Tottenham. It's basically Tottenham. Like the players you got, like to get to a final, right? Like with cup competitions, you need to have a good attack, right? Because you score goals, you're in matches.
Yeah, but
To win the
if you
league,
look at the
you
teams
need to
we
have a
played.
good defense to be consistent and get clean sheets, right? If to win a league, you need to have a good defense, solid defense, and get clean sheets and get draws. But to win a cup competition, you do need a good attack, and I think you guys have a good attack more than you give it credit for. I think you've got a good attack, but yeah, maybe it's a manager, but I think there's good foundations there for your attack. I think anyway.
Well, I admire your enthusiasm, but if you think we have a good attack, it's not working under Ange. I reckon it would work under a new manager. I think a new manager would be able to come in, bring in some new ideas, galvanize the players, and then you can see a difference. A new manager bounce to begin with, and then take it from there. So I just don't think we can do anything next season with the way that Ange plays, his system, his tactics. It just hasn't worked, and I can't go over 21 defeats. We can't go into the new season like that with the same manager. We just can't. I can't see that again.
Well, it's
I
gonna.
think you have a new song, 21 Seconds, 21 Defeats.
Mate,
So it's definitely gonna be.
it's gonna be 22 by the end of the season, so not
It
even
might be
21.
22. Wait, didn't somebody sing something with 22? Hasn't Drake got an interlude on one of his albums where he goes 22? Yeah, yeah, there is
Yeah,
something like that.
Let,
Yeah,
let's
there
talk
is.
about
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Tottenham. What all they, because I haven't seen who's been kind of linked with Tottenham, so to see whether they're going to go into new season with Ange and trust him with new season, give him a load of money for him to make a
no
to make
chance.
a to get back up into the league, and also to make a shoot for the Champions League. So talking obviously staying on Champions League teams, Arsenal. Now I'm gonna have the chance. I don't know how long we're gonna have you here, Dave, before you disappear again, like Doctor Who.
no, I think it's all good
So
now. So I
um,
actually called EE and sorted it out. It's all good.
you informed E.
I called
Yeah,
them on the
it's still
phone.
not
Yeah,
good, but it's still
yeah, yeah.
you've got you here anyway for the
I
time
spoke
being.
to Kevin Bacon, it sorted me out.
You got to get him to send you like a new phone or something, yeah, to make up for
Yeah,
all of this. Yeah,
yeah.
it has been the best. But
Mm.
glad to have you back again.
Mm.
So, we are going to look at kind of like your targets. So, I remember what I think you lot were talking the longest about Alexander Isak, as one of your like transfer targets. So Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, and also your midfield. So from hearing about Isak before December, because you were talking about Arsenal's new striker, to now you're signing another central midfielder in Zubimendi, and we're seeing that Jorginho had to be replaced. You're looking to probably get rid of Zinchenko. Partey hasn't signed a new deal yet. We don't know whether one's been offered to him yet, or maybe the money is not right. But with all this transfer rumors swirling Arsenal, and we know, I think we know what they kind of need. The postman knows who they need. But which area do you feel needs strengthening in your team?
I think first and foremost, obviously, we need a striker. That's obvious for everyone to see. It was Isaac that was the target, but obviously Newcastle are not going to sell him, and they've got Champions League football pretty much secured, most likely. So I don't see any
Hmm.
reason for Newcastle to sell Isaac, unfortunately, unless we come in with a stupendous amount of money, like 150 million. I don't think that's going to happen. So the striker we're looking at right now is Gokaris. Gokaris. Obviously, I know when he was in the Premier League. Which club did he play for in the Championship again? When he was in
Coventry.
Coventry, that's it, Coventry. Yeah. So I know he's done well abroad, and I think he's got the potential. He's strong. He's a bit quick. He's tall. Can get headers in. So I think he's a good option. He's got a £65 million, pretty much transfer fee that they can sell him for. Um, they've agreed that that's how much they're going to sell him for. Right. So I think we can go in for Gokares. That's our striker sorted. Nico Williams, left winger, because Martinelli is not always consistent. You've seen Martinelli throughout the season. He's not always. He gets chances. Sometimes he makes the wrong dribbles. So I think Nico Williams would be a perfect left winger for us. Right. I would love to have Nico Williams. Right.
I don't see that happening.
And I
Out of all the
know.
transfer
I'm being
ones,
optimistic.
Nico Williams is the one that I feel is no way, because first and foremost,
Mm.
you would have to sell either Trossard or Martinelli. Neither those two could be at the team in the squad, and you're gonna bring in Nico Williams.
What is the transfer
It's
rumor?
that's far fetched.
At the moment, is a transfer rumor. It's out there, in the
What
ecosystem.
rumor? I ain't seen nothing in
You ain't seen
ages.
nothing. Okay,
How
if
much?
you go in Google, type in Nico Williams and Arsenal, is
Go
a
on Google. How much?
transfer rumor.
How much?
Yeah. Well,
How much?
there's no figures right now, but it's just a rumor that
There's figures
it's
of
just a rumor.
there's figures of rumors. How much?
There's no.
You lot just
Okay,
making up stuff now.
okay,
Like
okay,
just
okay,
Nico Williams.
okay. For sure, then obviously Zubimendi, I'm pretty sure will come, and we do need a DM because apart from Partey.
Hmm.
I think we need a DM. Yes, we've got Marino. Jorginho, no. Rice is more of a box to box, right? Odegaard, I think, is okay because we've got Nwaneri. We can long term, and Nwaneri just signed a new contract, so I think long term, Nwaneri and Odegaard is okay for the attack in the field. But I think Zubimendi, because we don't know what's happening with Partey, I think Zubimendi was important just to get someone as a proper DM to play. In terms of Zinchenko, we have good left backs. We've got Calafiori, we've got Marcelo Skelly.
Too many left backs.
Yeah, Marcelo Skelly just signed a new contract, so that's even better. Saliba just signed a new contract. Gabriel just signed a new contract. And obviously, right back we've got Ben White and Timber as well. Our
He even
backup
signed
in,
a new contract. Are you sure?
yeah, all four of them. Well, I just saw it on the newsfeed that contracts have been agreed, but it's not public yet. So
I'll have to. Yeah,
yeah,
we need to fact check that one because I know
yeah,
Saliba
that's
still
fine.
has
That's fine.
2 years
I've just saw it on the
to in
newsfeed. Contracts have been
2027.
agreed. Yeah. But
That's also FC news. That's what that is. Is that the same news that Arteta was reading to tell him that he was better, that Arsenal were better than PSG? Is that the same one?
let's not go there. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. And anyway, in terms of
Okay.
cover, the only issue we have is defensive cover. So Saliba and Gabriel, I think probably the best partnership. I know there's a.
I mean, keep
I know your
was
debate about Konate and Van Dijk. Yeah, but I think
It's
Saliba.
fine. You lot can
Yeah,
you lot can say that
yeah.
you lot can say that you lot were the better centre backs. It's fine because Konate and Van Dijk are Premier League champions, so
No, I
they're
know,
not
I
really
know,
they're
I know
bothered.
they've been more
It's fine.
consistent. But anyway, we haven't got cover
Hmm.
because we've got Kiwo, and I know Ben White can play in central defence. So I think having one more defender, one DM, which we're getting, one left winger and one striker. There are targets. Gorka Nico Williams, Mende. That's what we've got so far.
that'd be good. You need to replace your left side because
Yeah,
Martinelli and Trossard are not
yeah,
good
yeah. I
enough.
know it's not
But
standard.
you won't win the league with those two
No,
on your
you
left
won't.
side.
You won't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
one thing for
yeah.
sure, though, we are going to spend money, right? Because, like I said, we had a lucrative season.
Oh yeah, no, you always
Yeah,
spend money. You just gotta
yeah.
buy another left back.
But, yeah.
That's all.
No, we're definitely getting a left back this time. So I think 100% we're going to spend money, and we've got the sporting director Berta, Andres Berta, right? I think he can do good business. I think he's a good sporting director. So let's see how
I reckon
he can take it.
I see better turn you guys into Villarreal or something, boy. Because you're gonna have some Spanish left backs, Brazilian centre midfielders, Ecuadorian strikers. You're gonna have the most. It's gonna Berta's gonna turn you lot into it'll be like Real Arsenal.
Yeah,
That's what you're gonna be
as long as
called
we
for
win something, I'll be happy.
second
As I
place.
progresses. Well,
Oh,
anyway,
do you know what? Weirdly enough, Arteta's not going to win his favourite trophy, the Community Shield, for next season because he's not going to be in it. So it's going to be Palace versus Liverpool for Community Shield. So Arteta's lost another trophy. Oh my God,
yeah.
what's happened here? It's just
But
tragedy,
you know,
tragedy.
the Community Shield is I think it's normally Man City's trophy, isn't it? You know,
No, it's
and
Arteta's. It's
uh,
Arteta's. Remember, he won it.
yeah.
He's won it twice. He told us.
But we
He
don't
told
need
us
it.
he won it twice.
We don't need it. We've got bigger fish to fry right now, so we don't
Yeah, like
need
second place. There you go. It's fine, but it's good. You know, you lot are gonna make some signings this season. You're gonna come back stronger. I know it was a disappointing season. Again, I think you may have missed this because of your technical difficulties, but we were talking about that it's the middle. You know, the teams in the middle of the table are tougher to beat away. So it's the victories away that are bringing down like the points tally of the season because you can see now how just looking at the way the league is, the middle teams are so much better than they have been over the last few seasons, and there's no guaranteed 6 points. Maybe the 6 points will come from teams in the bottom six, but the teams that are in the middle, they're now fighting for European places, and they're actually getting better. So we're interested to see what Arsenal will do. for transfers. I wanted to touch up on a few teams also in the notorious Big Six and see what kind of business they're looking to do. So you've got Chelsea who is sniffing around a new striker as well. So I think that is one thing that you as an Arsenal fan will be interesting to kind of see. You've got people like Victor Osimhen and Sesko. You've been linked to either those two over the last year, year and a half. Same as Chelsea. All Chelsea have is Nicholas Jackson, and you can see that now he's suspended for the rest of the season. Chelsea are going to struggle with goals. So going into next season, I don't think they can rely on Nkunku. I think he wants to leave. He's not getting enough football, and they've got an 18-year-old Mark Gui, where he's not really. I think it's one of the worst signings that they've made in recent history. I don't know what the point was signing an 18-year-old from Barcelona. I don't know what they thought they did. He was going to do tiki-taka and every week or something. So Chelsea are going to be looking at a number 9, which there's going to be some big movements in the transfer window. So you've got Osimhen up there, Sesko, you've got Gokes, as which everybody's looking at. Yeah, Isak out of the picture. 150 million. I don't think anybody's going to pay for that. And to be fair, he might not even finish a whole season, and he's proven that now. Um, and now you are looking at Champions League rivals, and there's going to be a fight. So who's going to overpay on players? What I can say is, and we haven't spoken about them this week, or well, in this episode of March, and it's Liverpool. Very fast in replacing what needs to be done. You know, the season hasn't been finished yet, and Liverpool have already wrapped up Frimpong, who went in for his medical today, and then we are also now trying to wrap up personal terms with Kirkes. So by the time June 1st even opens, I think Liverpool would have even wrapped up probably 3 players to come in and be able to start. So yeah, business is being done early with the champions, which is actually something that I think most teams should be, especially where teams are falling short. But right now, I think what has happened is Liverpool are able to do that because the league is done, and we can now concentrate on transfers where other clubs are trying to wrap up the season and see where they finish because of European contentions. So Villa, Manchester United, interesting to see what happens with them. Rashford, I don't think he is looking to stay with Aston Villa, even if they do get Champions League football. I think he's pushing for a move to Barcelona, so he's willing to take
What?
yeah,
Rashford at Barcelona.
Rashford
Yeah,
at
it might happen,
Barcelona.
Wow.
It could happen, and apparently we're hearing that yeah, 40 minutes, not much, but again, he's a Man United product, so he cost them nothing. So it's 40 million profit on United's books. Plus, it takes him off the wage bill, which is a lot because he's on like 350,000 a week. Um, yeah, he's on a big boy contract. Him and Bruno Fernandes are like on 350, well, around that mark each. So that
I don't
would
see
that
Rashford going to Barcelona. I think that's ridiculous. If I was Rashford, stay at Villa. I think it's been a good fit. I
yeah,
think
but
he's made an
yeah,
impact there. He needs to leave Manchester. Villa don't want
yeah,
Rashford.
I don't think so. He's seen enough of Rashford to be like for 40 million, he could probably get somebody younger, more hungrier, and probably a bit more, yeah, consistent. Um, so I feel like United are looking at 100% looking at a rebuild. And again, something that fits in with the system of Amarin. I do not believe, that Rashford can play in his system. So him and Sancho out the door. They'll make at least a good 80 million potentially out of them. They can put that in the pot. So they'll be out on the way. Um,
sorry, Alex. Manchester United. It's like, when is it going to actually start working, man? Like,
Turn my head like this, man. Jesus Christ, David.
yeah,
sorry?
bruv, you're making me dizzy right now. You need to
Oh,
turn
sorry.
your phone.
Oh, Manchester United, when is it going to start working? Because it's like they've got a cake and it's like it's expired and they keep on adding icing on top every season, like literally. So I just think a complete real rebuild, throw away the cake, man. Start from the beginning. Like they've got
Throw away the
tournaments.
cake before it gives you diabetes.
Yeah,
That's what you're trying to say.
exactly. Because I think the club still has potential. Even the stadium, like, can't even fix a leak in the stadium. You know, when are they going to start kind of
I'm
rebuilding?
sure they fixed that leak
Are they
now.
fixed
That leak
already?
must have been gone now.
Is
Yeah,
it?
that
Bloody
leak
hell.
has been fixed. Yeah,
Bloody hell.
they had to do
Yeah.
that. They had to do that.
It just Yeah, it's sad to see because back in the day when Arsenal when we had real rivalry with Manchester United, and these days it's like literally. I mean, our rivals right now are Liverpool, of course, but it was so much fun. I was watching the Vieira and Keane. I suppose we'll do it in the off season, comparing players, but I was
Oh, we've got
watching.
some interesting episodes,
Yeah,
some debates that I think have been brewing
yeah,
in our WhatsApp group. Need to come
yeah.
out, and we need to share this with the world and to show. And it'll be great for to to get the ideas out there and to see what people think. But yeah, guys, thank you for today. It's been great. We've managed to have a look over the weekend. Please, everybody, comment. I want to hear your thoughts on where you feel it's going to happen with things like Pep, like his future. Should Pep go on a sabbatical, or should he be, do a rebuild? Palace winning the FA Cup. Are they now going to be a force to be reckoned with? How would they feature in Europa? And my guy, because shaking his head, he's saying, no, I smell jealousy, maybe. Are they going to be a force to be reckoned with? Or could this just be a one season wonder? But Glasner, he looks like the guy with the magic touch. He's done it with Frankfurt and now he's done it with Palace. So can they keep the manager? Can they keep the squad together? Let us know what you feel. The top five. This is also a big thing. One game left, just one. Some teams are playing tomorrow, but yeah, one game left. Sunday is going to be the super Sunday. We will see who is going to be who's going to be happy, who's going to be deflated. Will City make it into the top five and claim Champions League? Will Aston Villa make it? Would Chelsea make it? Will Forest make it? Would Newcastle, could they drop out of the top five or not get Champions League football? It almost feels like we are watching like the season finale of Power or something. Yeah, who shot Ghost? That's gonna be like the end of the Premier League. It's been the best race. Maybe this is what it is. Maybe there wasn't an actual race. There wasn't an actual title race. It was just one team out there just running by themselves. So maybe the real race was for the Champions League spots because there's a lot of money involved and in Europe. So we're doing very well in that. But yeah, we'll end it on that note. Okay, we will have another show to review what's happened over the rest of the week and the weekend's games. So yeah, we've got Man City, Bournemouth tomorrow, and also there's somebody else playing as well. Palace, that's it. Yeah, Palace will also that game. They don't really care about that game, so it's that one is
They're gonna
more
be
or less
drunk, ain't
just
they?
like they're gonna be drunk. Yeah, just like Liverpool. They end the season drunk. They've been drunk for the last 3 weeks. Um, but yeah, but guys, thank you for today again. Some great points and opinions there. I'll see you guys on the next one. But everybody, remember, smash a like, get a comment in, subscribe. Algorithm. This is the Never Caught Offside podcast. Good night.
No, yeah. Sorry about the connection issues, man. I had to call.